I think there's been certain people that are in hierarchical positions who have, this is how we see things now. And they cover it by, well, this is how the church has always worked. I'm a part of the magisterium. I'm a successor to Peter and the apostles. Therefore, that's how it's always worked. Peter said something, it became practice. Paul said something, it became practice. So what's the difference if I say it, right? They cover it with real canonical thoughts because they're not wrong. You know, magisterium is the teaching, governing, authoritative body of the church. They're not wrong by what they're saying, but that's a terrible use of canon law in order to get their point across. And I think you see this
that's
with...
why you hear warnings against clericalism, even coming from the top.
I think there's healthy clericalism. I think we've gotten too far away from clericalism.
Well, I think I might agree with you, but I wouldn't define it in the same terms, right?
We need to rebrand it.
There needs to be hierarchy. There needs to be a strong leadership. It's, of course, got to be grounded in virtue. So if that's what you mean by clericalism, like if you mean like the cleric is in charge, I would agree with you. Like I think that it's the princes of the church that need to get together if people want to, say that there's some sort of a major issue that's happening towards the top of the hierarchy here on earth in the church militant. That being said, there's also, it's going to be the Blessed Mother that's going to save us from the issues that we're dealing with right now. Of course, and for any Protestants that are tuning in, everything the Blessed Mother does is only by virtue of, Jesus Christ. So
by the office of the Queen Mother.
Right. So it's ultimately God that's going to, divine intervention is what we need for a lot of the issues that are happening in this day and age. But anyways, what...
I see clericalism as like, people are so... They're trained, right? We just got off the whole educational system. They're trained to just perceive things a different way and then act on it. You always saw a priest and his clerics, right? Like you knew a priest was a priest. So if he entered the room, you would naturally make it a point to like, I'm probably not going to swear, or I'm going to make it a point to go say hi to Father, right? Because he was just this much higher above you on the like humans are equal, but priests were just enough higher where you looked up to them, you respected them. They were the bigger presence in the room, correct? Because it's common to see priests who, they were taught through seminary, like, oh, you need to fit in, you need to get away from all this stuff. And I'm not saying they can't wear shorts and t-shirts on their days off and go golfing, right? I'm not saying priests are fully entitled to do that. But when they act the same, like they're on the same level as human interactions, then when you go to Sunday Mass, these younger kids or these younger people, they don't see them as like that authoritative figure that I need to respect and listen to attentively, because they see as like, oh, that's Father Bill. He comes over on Sundays when my family comes around for like our spaghetti dinners. And that's great. I love priests that visit homes and stuff like that. But
and by the way, Father Bill loves talking about the Bills in his homily.
Absolutely he does. He always gives a score prediction at the end of Mass. I think that's where healthy clericalism is like, yeah, invite Father around. He can wear dressed as you and I are to Sunday for spaghetti dinner, but make sure he's the one who says grace. Make sure there's a common understanding with your kids of like, that's still the priest. When they go to Mass on Sunday mornings, oh, he's up, that's Father. I was taught to always listen to him. Like, he's important, like the guy up there. Then you actually have a different, and that's why I love the Latin Mass. You clearly know as a laity, you're the laity. You're not participating. This guy's offering sacrifice for you. This guy's leading you in prayer. And I'm just fortunate enough to be allowed to watch.
Sure.
Right? Well, they have the opportunity to be there in my own participation, my mental prayer, and
there's a huge
reception of communion
component on the part of the laity as well there.
But there's a differentiating, right? Even when the physical things like the altar rails, I can't go into that space, but he can, so he must be more important than I am in just a very basic, simple way where
Absolutely.
I need to listen to him, respect him, and do what he tells me to do. Nowadays, there is no, you walk into modern design churches and the altar's on the same level as the floor that you and I are sitting on in the pews. Like there isn't even like a step up to like a sanctuary now. And it's like, there's no divide. They want you to just all be one big communal, like the Last Supper theme, right? We're all around the table sitting together, and like, that's beautiful and wholesome and stuff, but why can't we put him up 5 feet higher than everyone else?
So you've brought up a few different things here. So just to be clear about where I am with all of these things, of course I agree with the vast majority of what you're saying right now. You're not going to hear an argument from me. I'm a avid Latin Mass goer. And, I know very well, a lot of the distinctions between what the church has historically done versus a lot of the innovations and things that are happening today. And if you want, we can get into that. But, I wouldn't call, Father actually maintaining the dignity of his office, clericalism in a healthy sense per se. That's just me. But I mean, to me, that's just part of being Catholic.
I think that's
in his station in life.
But I think that's even more important to why we have to reclaim the basics. I think we've gotten so far behind. It's not understood that father needs to just protect his office. We should help him protect his office, and we should teach our kids to protect that office too. Even if my son doesn't become a priest or a deacon, he's going to sure well know that that office is more important than. I'm not saying, my son, you want to be a carpenter, a lawyer, you're doing great things. You're a garbage man. You're providing this society. You're raising a family. You are a great human being full of morals and virtues, and I pray that's what my future children are going to be. But in the end of the day, his office is more important than yours, and I want you to remember that.
Sure.
Your salvation is dependent on his office existing and him doing his office right. And there's a lot of pressure on priests.